Hey interpreters and Cymo Note beta testers, this is Marty. In this video, I will walk you through the process of installing Cymo Audio Driver on your Mac. This driver includes a virtual cable that will allow you to route sound wherever you like within your system, and a volume controller so you can control the volume while rerouting your sound. We're going to start with the Cymo Audio Driver installation package, then set up a multi-output device on your Mac, and finally we're going to grant the volume controller permission so that you can control the sound volume when rerouting. Installing this will allow you to use Cymo Note on the same device you have your meeting platform without any physical cable connections. Let's get started. So first, you should have received the Cymo Audio Driver 1.0.0 package. This would have come to you either through the beta test welcome email as a file attached to that email, or it might be a link that is included in your email that will navigate you to a website built by our very own where you can download this package. So first thing, we're going to double click it and it will take us directly to the installation window. And the process is quite simple. Just simply follow the on-screen prompt. Here's the software license agreement. Go ahead and agree to it and click install. It's going to ask you for your password. I'm going to enter mine, and it should take just a few seconds to install. Okay, now that we're done with the installation, you will notice that there's a prompt for a few next steps. Don't worry, we're going to go through all of this in this video, so you don't have to navigate to this. With that done, we're going to click close here and move on to the next step. Next, we're going to tell the system to route any sound coming from your meeting platform to both your headset and the Cymo virtual cable. And to do that, we need to find audio MIDI setup. To do that, the most convenient way is through a spotlight search. And to do a spotlight search, find the magnifying glass on the upper right-hand side of your desktop and simply type in audio MIDI setup. And it's going to do a search within your system and auto-populate the list. And the one you're looking for is the one with a little keyboard icon on the left side. Click that, and it's going to take you to a window that will show all of the audio devices installed on your machine. And of course, you can see the default, the built-in microphone and built-in output. And there might be some few other drivers that you have installed previously. And because of our earlier installation, you can see the Cymo virtual cable is installed on your device. But that's just the first step. What we need to do is tell the system to route anything coming from your meeting platform or your system to both your headset and Cymo virtual cable. To do that, we come down here where there's a plus sign, click that, and select Create Multi-Output Device. And it's going to give you a list of all the devices that you can choose from. And you can see right here that Cymo virtual cable is selected. There is something unique about the Mac setup. You have to make sure that the built-in output floats on top here. So if it's not, in this particular case, it is not, you want to unclick whatever's on the first position so that built-in output can float on top. And with that, click built-in output, and then select Cymo virtual cable. And for Cymo virtual cable, we want to enable drift correction. And that is to make sure that the sound gets routed correctly and on time. And with that, we have completed setting up the audio device MIDI. And something very interesting that you notice here, that when we try to change volume, we cannot. And that is why we need to enable Cymo Volume Controller. And the way that we can do that is that we go into Launchpad, and you can see we have already installed it from the Cymo Audio Driver. Here it is the Cymo Volume Controller. And this is what will enable us to control the volume while rerouting our sound. One thing to note is that since this is the first time we're opening up Cymo Volume Controller, a particularity about Mac is that it is very protective of any software trying to access any hardware controls, such as the speaker. So we need to give Cymo Volume Controller permission. But don't worry, it is very easy to do. Just go ahead and click Open System Preferences right here. And this will take you directly to Security and Privacy Setup. And on the left-hand side, in the Accessibility category, you'll see on the right-hand side is a list that has been grayed out. And that is because this is protected. And we cannot enable Cymo Volume Controller at this moment. To be able to edit this, you want to click this little lock icon here. It's going to prompt you for your password again. And you can see this list is now live. We want to make sure to give Cymo Volume Controller a check mark. And with that done, we want to lock it back up so that you won't mistakenly enable or anyone else mistakenly enable or disable any devices here. And with that, we are ready to test it out. And lo and behold, over here on your top of your desktop, you can see a Cymo Volume Controller enabled. And we want to make sure to select the multi-output device that we just set up. And with our hotkeys, we can now control the volume freely. Okay, now you have Cymo Virtual Cable and Cymo Volume Controller installed and enabled on your Mac device. With that, let's do an experiment. Over here, I have a speech from YouTube from Sean Davis on atmospheric ozone depletion. And I also have a spectrogram that will respond to the sound coming from my microphone. So I'm going to enable it just to make sure it's operational. Yes. This is my voice doing sound test. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we see that that is working. And I'm going to enable Cymo Note. And if this is the first time logging onto Cymo Note, please take a moment to get familiarized with the interface. If you want to change any settings, it is this gear icon on the upper left-hand corner. And we click it. And if this is your first time, usually here in the audio input source, it would have defaulted to your original setting. Say, for example, in my case, if I would have opened Cymo Note the first time, it would have been here. So what we want to do is, since we already told our system to split the sound through our headset and Cymo virtual cable, we want to plug the other end of this virtual cable into Cymo Note. And that is why here in audio input source, we select Cymo virtual cable. I'm going to click refresh for a couple of more times to make sure that it's correctly updated and linked. And we are ready to run our test meeting. Now, if everything is set up correctly, the spectrogram down here will continue to respond to my voice, and we will be able to hear the speaker from YouTube while Cymo Note dictates everything he is saying. So let's start running it. I'm going to enable Cymo Note, and you can see that the spectrogram down here is responding to my voice, but Cymo Note is not dictating anything. That's because I want Cymo Note to focus on the remote speaker. But if I enable the YouTube video, we can see that this is responding. And now I'm going to move the headset closer to the microphone so you guys can hear what he is saying as well, to make sure that Cymo Note is acting correctly.
When some questionable choices were made. First of all, hairstyles. Second of all, objectively terrible quantities of hairspray. And
And we
third,
can see that the
CFCs.
spectrogram is also responding to my
Man-made
voice
chemicals that were used as propellant
without
in aerosol spray cans.
my voice traveling to
And
Cymo
you
Note.
see, it turns out these CFCs were a problem because they were destroying the ozone layer. Now, I'm sure most of you have heard of the ozone layer, but why does it matter? Well, quick summary, the ozone layer.
Okay, everyone, that is how we use the Cymo Audio Driver package to install the Cymo virtual cable and the Cymo volume controller for use with Cymo Note and your preferred meeting platform. Thank you very much, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me directly.